You're listening to the OUTLoud Podcast, hosted by Dakota Outright, www.dakotaoutright.org. Welcome to episode 5. I'm Jen, and today Carrie's hosting with me.
Hey.
So Carrie, Capital Pride is happening this week. I'm so excited because it's finally here. We've had a team of people working on this thing since last fall, and it's really exciting to bring another great lineup of events.
Yep, in today's podcast, we'll get behind-the-scenes look at Capital Pride, including an interview with Todd Sattler from Laughing Sun Brewing Company, and talking with the leader of the Dakota Divas, Janessa Jaye Champagne. We also have a new Strength Through Stories segment to close out the show.
Now let's take just a minute to walk through the Pride schedule. So on Sunday, June 14th, we hosted a pre-Pride kickoff with Laughing Sun. It was really great. We showed a cult movie, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and they launched the commemorative beer for Pride, which is called Black Cherry Fairy. And so that'll be on tap all week or until it runs out after Pride.
And then on Friday, June 19th, we're hosting the Riverboat Social Cruise. This is a 21 and over event with music, free appetizers, trivia, and a peaceful cruise on the Missouri River.
And then on Saturday, June 20th, we'll be hanging out at Pride in Custer Park. So bring your family, your pets, and maybe a blanket or two. We'll have a great afternoon of entertainment lined up in addition to vendors, activities for kids, and refreshments from Laughing Sun Brewing and DJ Smokehouse. We'll be there from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can also enter a contest to win free Aerosmith tickets from our friends at URL Radio. That contest starts at 3 o'clock.
And Saturday night brings the infamous Dakota Divas show at the Bismarck Event Center with Janessa Jaye Champagne and our biggest amateur contest yet. And this is an 18 and over event.
And then on Sunday, we'll close out Pride Weekend with an interfaith service at the Unitarian Universalist Church. That starts at 9 a.m. And then that afternoon, we'll head to Dakota Stage for a free screening of the film Pride, along with a community panel discussion. And so doors there will open at 1, and the movie starts at 1:30.
For more information, a full schedule, and how to get your tickets, go to our website or Facebook page. Our Capital Pride star sponsors include URL Radio, Bismarck Mandan Unitarian Universalist Congregation, Bismarck State College Embracing Diversity Committee, and Laughing Sun Brewing Company.
And as a reminder, you can listen to the OUTLoud Podcast in a few different places. So we're on URL Radio. We air the third Wednesday of every month at 1:30, and you can listen at urlradio.net. And then we're also on The Mix, which is Bismarck State College's student-run radio. Go to bscmysticmedia.com. And then you can also look us up on YouTube. Just search Dakota Outright. And soon we'll have our podcast on iTunes, so it's more convenient for you.
To learn more about Dakota Outright and how you can get involved, go to our website, dakotaoutright.org, or our Facebook page, facebook.com/Dakota Outright.
Oh, hey, over there. Hey, did you know that there's going to be a Capital Pride 2015 Pride in the Park going on I believe it's June 20th from 11 to 5?
You know, I think I did hear something about that bit.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be so much fun. You don't even know. There's going to be some really nice music. That Chris Kicko, real sweet gal. And the Swintones are a bunch of cuties. And you cannot
so
beat Gravel and Glass. They're just the cutest little pair.
They're the best.
They're so good.
They're the best.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. Did you know there are going to be some vendors there too?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's really awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Oh, and did you know they're going to have a pep parade again this year?
Oh, yes. That's what I heard about, actually. I'm so excited for Miss Fluffy Butter to go. You know, she loves putting on costumes, and I just can't wait.
Oh, my gosh. You know, they're going to have some Pep Pride merch there, so you can get Miss Fluffy Butter, whatever her name is. I can't remember. You come up with the funniest little names.
I know.
But they've got all kinds of fun stuff like
That'll be great. That'll be great.
Anyway, we should maybe check out the website. There's a little bit more information there.
What is that?
It's www.dakotaoutright.org/pride, I believe it is.
All right, I will be there.
Oh my God.
So we're here today in the studio with Todd Sattler from Laughing Sun Brewing Company, and we're really excited to talk about their role with Capital Pride 2015. And thanks for being here, Todd.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for asking me. It's a great day.
You know, Carrie and I were really excited for your guys' role and involvement with us, and we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, you know, what you guys do and why you do it.
Well, we started Laughing Sun or opened our doors in November of 2012. Always, I think, even long before that, and when Mike and I were, and my partner is Mike Freilich, by the way, he and I talked, before we opened, obviously, about what we wanted Laughing Sun to be, and a big part of it was we wanted it to be a place where everyone in the community could feel welcome to come and really to be a part of the community, and hopefully even to help grow the community. And that and just trying something different, I think, in Bismarck and really in North Dakota. And so, we were the first brew pub to open since the 60s. We knew that with that we'd have sort of a responsibility to do things right. And I think one of the ways to do things right is to be part of the community.
So why is it important for Laughing Sun to be involved with community and events like Capital Pride?
Well, I think, one thing is our location downtown. I think that of all the neighborhoods in Bismarck, we're probably the most diverse neighborhood downtown. And so it was important for us to recognize that, I think, recognize where you're at and what you're trying to do. And so it was, just a natural for us to want to be part of what you folks are doing in with that understanding.
Very cool. We're really excited that you're going to be a part of Pride. And Laughing Sun Brewing Company, they're a Capital Pride Star sponsor. And we also hosted the pre-Pride kickoff with you guys.
Yeah.
And so we did trivia and a cult film. We watched The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which was awesome. And thank you to DNN Cinematics who helped put that on. And we also got to tap the commemorative beer. And do you want to talk a little bit about that beer and what goes into making a beer?
Sure. First of all, it's important for us to always try to do different things in the pub, and so it was just a great event. We haven't shown films. I think we just did that one other time, and so that was really fun to do, and the trivia was great as well. And so, yeah, we a while ago we talked with Aaron and I think with you, Jen, too, and talked about making a beer special for this week and everything that's going on. And so we made a dark beer. It's called, it's a black ale, which is a style of beer, something that we haven't made a whole lot of black ales before, and so we wanted to bring that out again. We also used some locally sourced berries with this beer, and so it's got some cherry notes and cherry flavors, and so we are going to call it Black Cherry Fairy Ale, and we will release it. We did release it on Sunday, but we'll also have it available on Saturday for what we're doing in the park. Just the process one of the great things about what we do is we are able to source local products, and so as I think most people know, a lot of the barley that beer makers or beer producers use in their product is grown here, and so it's been great to do that. We're always looking for ways to continue to have North Dakota folks involved in what we're doing, and so we've talked to people about the possibility of now that we have 8 breweries in North Dakota having farmers produce things like hops for us and all of that as well.
That would be really cool. That's exciting. And you may or may not have brought a sample in the studio today of the Black Cherry Fairy, which that name came from a great long list of entries that we held a contest for. And so I don't have the name of the winner right in front of me, but they're going to win a nice package of Pride merch and some other great stuff, and notoriety for coming up with a very clever name. Was it hard to choose between the names?
Not really. Yeah, first, I hope it's okay that we are drinking a beer here, and so just so everyone knows, is full disclosure, we're drinking the beer that we made, the Black Cherry Fairy Ale, and it's great, by the way.
It is great. You can definitely taste the cherries in there, and it's it's darker, but it's not a really dark beer, which I like IPAs and probably mid to lighter. So this is really nice for everyone, I think. Yeah,
the Black Ale is a lighter bodied style, and so we wanted to make something that was still appropriate for summer and being out on Saturday, and so I think this worked. And I'm sorry, I forgot what you asked me. Or maybe there was
if it was hard to pick a name, because we had I think more than 70 entries on there.
There were some great names. It wasn't hard. I mean, Mike and I saw the names that you guys picked, and you guys had voted also on them, and this was one of them that got more votes than others, and so this was just a great name, reflected the beer and what we're trying to do with it, I think.
Definitely. So the kickoff was wonderful, and then we're also going to have you with us for Pride in Custer Park on Saturday, June 20th, and that runs in Custer Park off of Washington and kind of Broadway. And we'll be there from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so what will you have there for us?
Yeah, we're still, I guess, we definitely will have the beer, the Black Cherry Fairy Ale. We will bring, I think, 2 more beers out there, probably our Strawberry Wheat and kind of deciding what we're going to bring for our third one, but probably our IPA, Feast Like a Sultan IPA. But yeah, we'll be out there. I hear it just looks like a great event. There will be a lot of things going on. I'm particularly looking forward to the pet parade. I think that'll be fun, so I hope we can take some time off. I'll have somebody helping me down there. Maybe I'll be able to get away from the booth and see what's going on with the pet parade.
That would be wonderful. And are you also going to have root beer or some of your cream soda there?
Right. I think we'll be bringing the root beer out, yeah.
Okay,
so
great.
We'll
So something for the whole family. And,
That's right.
Pride in Custer Park is really family-oriented. We have activities for kids. We have music, including music from Chris Kitco, the Swentones, and Gravel and Glass. And then, like Todd mentioned, we're going to have a great pet parade and also a contest from URL Radio where you can win Aerosmith tickets. So
Wow, Aerosmith.
Yeah, Aerosmith tickets. You don't have to have a pet to be part of that.
Can I enter that drawing?
You can. It may involve some drag performing. So to an Aerosmith song is my gut instinct.
I'll see what I can put together.
Yeah. Okay. So we really want to thank you for being with us today. It's great to learn more about Laughing Sun. And again, your support of organizations like ours and the community in general is really wonderful. And I think, we're going to be partnering on more trivia in the future if everything went well at the kickoff. And I think that's something that, our community would like to do. And I think it's just another way to partner with you.
Be great to have you folks in, on a regular basis like that. Trivia was fun. I think it's just a good way to get everybody together, and doesn't have to be super competitive, but just fun, and I think that's the way it turned out there. So yeah, I was really, really happy to be partnering with Dakota Outright and you folks in all of this, and so thanks for inviting us out to Custer Park and for coming in on Sunday. It was a great time.
That's wonderful. And make sure to support Laughing Sun Brewing Company yourself. Go downtown. They have music pretty much every night.
We do, pretty much. Yep.
So it's a great company. All right, thanks, Todd.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to take you behind the scenes to somewhere you may never been before, backstage at a Dakota Divas drag show. The popularity of these rowdy productions has skyrocketed. More than 600 people attended our last show, and we're hoping even more of you turn out for Pride. But how does the magic happen? Janessa Champagne is the alter ego and creation of Chris M. Stoner and has been around the Grand Forks scene in one form or another for about 15 years. She is witty, she is glamorous, she is larger than life, and she knows how to entertain a crowd. Janessa performs regularly around the region, including frequent performances in Grand Forks, Fargo, and Bismarck, as well as occasional performances in other locales, such as Manitoba, Nebraska, and the Twin Cities. Thanks for being with us today, Janessa.
Thank you for having me.
So, why did you start doing drag?
It was just something that all kind of came together at the right time. I grew up in a little tiny town in North Dakota, and I came to college at Grand Forks, and so when I moved to Grand Forks, it was like the big city. And so I thought, I can do anything. I can kind of reinvent myself. And that was when I went through my whole coming out process. And as I was doing that, I was also sort of studying LGBT history and politics and all these sorts of things, and started to learn more about how drag fits into the whole history of LGBT communities. And so as I was learning about it, I started to become very interested in it and wanted to explore it. And so I started playing around with some different characters and different looks and things. And then our local campus group started doing dances and then wanted to have drag shows. And so that is kind of how Janessa, the character, came about to be sort of a character in those shows.
And okay, Janessa, that sounded really good. What process do you go through to put a drag show together?
It's a whole lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it by the time the lights come on show night. And so I have a lot of relationships with a lot of performers in different areas in Grand Forks and Fargo and Bismarck, and some from the Twin Cities and other places like that. And so the first thing I do is I just kind of put out a general call and say, who's around, who's interested, who might be interested in being part of whatever show we have coming up. If I know any information about what the theme is or any kind of song choices, I'll let them know that up front, and then I just sort of collect interest from who's available and who's around, and then I just start putting the show together and figure out, okay, who do we have, what kind of style do they present, and then try to turn that into a show that has, as much versatility as possible, a lot of variety. If we have lots of numbers that are kind of similar, I try to pepper them throughout the show so we can keep it interesting and keep it moving. And so there's a lot of organizing, a lot of little detail work that goes into it before we even hit the stage.
Okay, that's very interesting. What are some tips and tricks of the trade, and how do you queens change so quickly?
I think the big thing, people always say, well, how do you do it? I don't know if I could do this. I'm really interested in it, but I don't know how to get started. And I would say just start. Just play around with it. Just get some makeup, get a couple outfits, go thrift store shopping, play around with it and see what kind of character you can start to develop and think about what kind of songs you would perform. And so that's really how I did it. Some people have drag mothers that bring them into performing and really get them introduced to it. I didn't have that. I just sort of thought it was interesting and just started playing around with it and performing. And even before we had shows, I was kind of a party girl, and so I just sort of went around to, different house parties and things. If there was anybody who was in a band that hung out downtown, I knew them all, and so I would just go to all their house parties and just drink too much and have a good time. And just started to think about what kind of character was I, what was I all about? And so I would just say, get in there and do it. As far as how we change so fast, people think it's really hard, and it's actually not too bad because a lot of the foundation work that goes in, that's what takes the time. So doing all of the makeup, all of the body armor, getting all of that stuff that shapes us the right way, because sometimes, depending on what kind of performance you're doing, you need some things to appear and some things to go away. And so all of that is what really takes the time. And then once you've got that all in place, it's just changing outfits over top of that. And so a lot of my outfits are just made out of spandex. And so I just go off stage, rip one off, throw another one on. Most of them I don't even bother with zippers, so I just can pull them over my head and throw on another wig, change the jewelry, and I'm right back out the door.
That's awesome. I've actually been in a show and seen you do that. It's awesome. What's your most memorable backstage story? Remember, it's a family show.
Yes. That's a difficult one. We just, there's always problems with wardrobe. I mean, that's, as I said, depending on what type of performer you are and what kind of performance you're doing, there's always things that you want to go away and things that you want to appear. And so whenever you're trying to mold the body in that way, problems can ensue. And so at a recent show here in Grand Forks, I had a pair of Spanx that as I was getting dressed, I didn't know what happened at the time until I got undressed later, but I had a pair of Spanx that kind of was holding all of the different body shapers in place, and the crotch seam blew right out of it. And so I had this kind of really, this tight feeling right around my waist. I thought, what is that? And it's the Spanx had kind of come undone and just balled up in this area right around my waist.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and so we have performers whose boobs fly out, whatever kind of breast form they're using will fly out of their costumes or wigs fall off. So I would think that's fun. I think it's part of the show. I mean, I think that's, you try to keep it from happening as much as possible, but, the art of drag and what's fun about drag is that they know you're putting on a show. It's all about the illusion. And so I think it's okay if sometimes that curtain slips and you can see what's happening behind the scenes.
I would agree. So what do you see as the future of drag for North Dakota?
What I really like about, things like RuPaul's Drag Race is that it's really kind of bringing more diverse portrayals of drag to people who wouldn't necessarily be exposed to that. Because I think sometimes if you're not living in a big city, you don't get to see all the different styles of drag. And so sometimes people think, oh, well, it's just, impersonations, or it's just pageant looks or things like that. And really there's so many different styles of drag, and they all have their own unique little characteristics and their own little way of taking gender and playing with it and twisting it and making it interesting and exciting and thoughtful. And so I love that, RuPaul's Drag Race is doing that it's bringing this wider selection of drag to people. And so I think with North Dakota, we're just going to see more people, getting into drag and wanting to try it out and wanting to try very different styles of drag. So not wanting to do, just a typical traditional sort of style of drag. Some people see that and they're like, well, it might be fun to try drag, but I don't really want to look like that. And so I think it'll be great as people get to see more styles of drag that they'll kind of go out and try some of their own and maybe even invent some new types of drag.
That's awesome. So thanks for serving us up some behind-the-scenes realness with us, Janessa.
No problem, and come see our show for Pride. It's going to be fantastic.
Yep, the Pride Drag Show will be Saturday, June 20th. Doors open at 7 p.m., and the amateur contest begins at 8. Want to skip the insane line? Buy your tickets online ahead of the show and enjoy fast-track entry. Calling members of the LGBT community, their allies, friends, and families.
Dakota Outright believes that all families matter and welcomes the Bismarck, Mandan, and surrounding communities to join us June 19th through the 21st for Capitol Pride 2015.
Events include a riverboat cruise, Pride in Capitol Park, Dakota Divas Drag Show, interfaith service, and a film screening at Dakota Stage.
For a full schedule with dates, locations, and times, and to buy tickets, go to dakotaoutright.org.
Capitol Pride 2015 star sponsors include URL Radio, Bismarck Mandan Unitarian Universalist Congregation, Bismarck State College Embracing Diversity Committee, and Laughing Sun Brewing Company.
That about does it for our show. We'd like to thank everyone for listening, and again, thank you to all of the great sponsors and community partners that we have with Capitol Pride. It's just really great to have a lot of people supporting the work that we do and helping us build those connections in the LGBT community.
Coming up next is the closing segment of the OUTLoud Podcast, Strength Through Stories.
Storytelling builds human connection. Long throughout history, stories have been the way knowledge is shared, wisdom imparted, and great truths revealed to both listeners and storytellers themselves. Strength Through Stories is our way to connect with others about the human experience. We hope these stories will let others know that they are not alone, that things do get better, and that change is possible. Our storyteller this episode is Nicole. She's currently from Peoria, Arizona, but calls Bismarck home. Her story is titled, Becoming My True Self.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm 31 years old and originally from Bismarck, North Dakota. I'd like to talk to you about becoming my true self. As a kid, I was always shy, very quiet, an introvert. And I stayed that way for a long time through my teenage years because of my secret. It was about the age of 14 that I started to figure out who I was and who I was attracted to. And that was a scary thing. I didn't want anybody to know. And so I held it in for 5 years until around my 19th birthday, I decided to speak my truth. And I came out to my first friend. I sat there and I stuttered, I'm gay. Except it lasted much longer than that. The more people I told, the easier it got. I told one friend, then another, then a family member, coworkers. Eventually the weight of it all was gone. I became more comfortable with myself and everyone around me. And that let me become the person I am today. Much more outgoing and an out person. Able to be proud of who I am. In order to live a happy and healthy life, we need to be honest with ourselves and with the world. So I challenge you, let your secrets go, let the past go, and become a better, happier you.